Valuation Scorecard presents PTR's appraisal of KLA's potential stock price performance relative to its peer group. PTR's analysis is based on the three key drivers of value: growth, profitability, and risk. KLA Corporation designs, manufactures, and markets process control, process enabling, and yield management solutions for the semiconductor and related electronics industries worldwide. The company's products and services are intended for all phases of wafer, reticle, integrated circuit, and packaging production, from research and development to final volume manufacturing. KLA is traded on the NASDAQ exchange with the ticker KLAC. The company closed trading on June 21st at $456.43 with a market cap of about $62.6 billion. Welcome to Price Target Research. I'm John Lafferty. KLA's important characteristics are very high profitability, high expected growth, high financial strength, and low stability. A big positive influence on the company's valuation is its superior growth. KLA's valuation challenge will be to understand what the market's view of its future operating performance is, as reflected in the current price of $456. To achieve average annual stock market performance of 9% over the next 6 years, KLA shares will need to reach $765. To achieve upper quartile performance, KLA's stock price will need to reach $901 by 2028. The quartile chart is an essential tool in producing PTR's valuation scorecard. For each metric included, performance of a company in its peer group is ranked high to low and quartiles identified. The high end of the bar is top quartile, bottom end is low quartile, and the line in the middle is median performance. The company's value is determined and converted to a percentile. It's also plotted with a red dot. In the analysis, 12 investment variables are used, arranged into 4 categories: valuation, growth, profitability, and risk. Quartile charts help define the company's investment profile. Instances in which KLA's relative position is either top or bottom quartile help give the company its investment personality or its investment profile. KLA's investment profile is extremely well defined. A large number of characteristics stand out: high price-book ratio, high forecasted profitability, high historical profitability, high financial strength, high stock price volatility, high financial leverage, and high historical growth are extreme. Relative to the S&P 500, KLA has significant growth characteristics. Its appeal is likely to be to investors heavily oriented toward capital gains. KLA is of the highest investment quality. Its valuation is moderate, with a moderate dividend yield, moderate PE, and somewhat high price-book ratio, reflecting neutral investor expectations. KLA's peer group consists of 14 companies that have very similar investment and operating characteristics. The company's valuation is very high, and it has leading shareholder returns. Current valuation levels are very high relative to the peer group. Recent market returns have significantly outperformed the peer group. Relative to the S&P 500, KLA's overall valuation is high also. The highest factor, the price-equity ratio, is upper quartile. The ratio of enterprise value to assets is upper quartile. The ratio of enterprise value to revenue is upper quartile. Finally, the lowest factor, the price-earnings ratio, is below median. Current annual total returns from KLA are superior. Its annual total return performance currently is 23.1%, which is upper quartile relative to the S&P 500. The company's 5-year annualized total return performance of 33.7% is also upper quartile relative to the S&P 500 and is superior. Growth has been KLA's biggest valuation strength. Historical growth has been very high relative to the peer group, and forecasted growth is also relatively very high. Earnings growth and revenue growth have been superior. Equity growth, on the other hand, has lagged somewhat. The consensus growth rate forecast for KLA, which is the average of Wall Street analysts, is about 7% a year, substantially below the average of the historical growth measures. PTR's growth rate forecast of 21% is substantially above the consensus and substantially above the average of the historical growth measures. KLA's return on equity, pre-tax margin, and pre-tax return on assets are group leading. These factors have strengthened market perceptions of the company. The company, however, has very high excess cash and will have to work to reinvest that cash at attractive returns to support the levels of profitability and growth, profitability and valuation. Return on equity, our forecast is 155%, significantly below our recent forecast. A dramatic erratic increase between 2014 and 2022 did occur, however, and our current forecast is still significantly above the 2014 low of 16%. KLA's risk profile is neutral. Its overall variability has been above average, with above average revenue variability, earnings variability, and very high stock price volatility. On the other hand, the company's financial strength is relatively very high, and earnings expectations are also relatively very high. The debt-to-capital ratio has risen very significantly in recent years, however. A high earnings score indicates that current earnings expectations are strengthening, while a low score signals declining expectations. KLA's earnings score of 72 is relatively very high. Relative to the KLA peer group, the company's wealth creation profile is very favorable. The profile is based on measures of warranted value, appreciation potential, and total shareholder returns. The recent trend in KLA's warranted value is 64%. This rate of change is relatively pretty high. The company's appreciation score of 76 is also pretty high relative to the peer group. KLA's one-year total return, as mentioned before, of 23.1 is relatively very high, and the company's 5-year annualized total return of 33.7 is also very high. Total shareholder returns are expected to significantly beat the overall equity market. Based on current investor expectations, KLA shares should reach a level of about $1,390 by 2028, a 20.5% per year total shareholder return. A 2028 stock price of $765 would reflect median performance, and a price of $901 would be required to reach upper quartile performance. PTR's value trend rating is the overall measure of a stock's attractiveness relative to a universe of all companies traded on North American exchanges. The value trend rating combines the appreciation score that measures a stock's appreciation potential relative to the universe, with 0 being the lowest, 100 the highest, and the power rating that measures the current timeliness of the stock, 0 again being the lowest, 100 the highest. High value trend ratings reflect relatively high levels for each of these measures. Low value trend ratings reflect low levels for each. Stocks with high value trend ratings are expected to outperform the general market, while low value trend ratings underperform. KLA has a current value trend rating of A, which is our highest rating. This rating combines consistent signals from the two proprietary measures, PTR measures, of a stock's relative attraction. The appreciation score is 76, which is quite good, and the power rating at 93 is extremely high. The highest value trend rating we assign results. KLA's rating history has been quite stable. Over the last 41 months, the stock has been rated either A or B the entire time. During the full 41-month period, beginning in early 2020, KLA's value trend rating has been stable at A. It had a dip to B, but is now back to A. In the recent period beginning February of 2020 and ending in June, KLA's value trend rating remains stable. Well, that's a wrap for the KLA Corp Valuation Scorecard. You can find additional company research on our website at pricetargetresearch.com and more videos on youtube.com/pricetargetresearch.